clearly defined for students. We had a tendency to wait until that junior, senior year to give students opportunities and exposure to programs and career and technical education, which we found was really too late. So that's where GoTech evolved. Our mission statement is basically pretty simple and stimulating job growth within the Commonwealth. Again, we started in the Go Virginia Region 3, but certainly have grown, and you'll see a map about that here shortly, across the Commonwealth and continuing to grow. And our goal and mission is to create dependable talent pipelines in strategic sectors. We do look at that growth and diversification plan and identifying those sectors across the regions. This is fostered through public and private partnerships. Right now, we've got 11 GoTech modules: precision machining, welding, metrology, electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, manufacturing engineering, automation, robotics, IT coding and networking, healthcare technologies, precision agriculture, and we're developing the energy module as we speak. So again, as we look through workforce training, we look at talent development and how we collaborate with our partners across the region, identifying really that hub and spoke of how we involve our K-12 school systems, higher education, and industry. We have many advisory councils from, higher education, our community college partners, our K-12 partners, and really looking at what are skill sets that students need, what do we need to make sure those sectors look like, and what is that job demand in our regions and across the Commonwealth, and identifying these sectors and these module areas that I just mentioned. Starting in middle school, which we found was critical, that we need to get students engaged and exposed at a younger age, was the reason behind starting our GoTech program at the middle school level. We started that 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, giving students exposure to those 9 pathways. And then again, we added 2 additional module areas that regions come together as a region and identify 9 areas of focus that region wants to be a part of. And once students go through that middle school, the idea is to start with a large funnel because they're being exposed to careers and opportunities at a young age. And as they go through high school, 9th and 10th grade, and I can speak, with Pittsylvania County, one of the things that we did was really look at we had those junior and senior level programs at the high school, and then we dropped back and did our middle school GoTech program. And then we went back in and added some more strategic programs at our 9th and 10th grade that really focused and really started narrowing down those opportunities for students so they could really get more skill sets into that. Those junior senior programs are dual enrolled through the community college, so giving students that opportunity really to be engaged and have a firsthand focus on getting that schooling done at an earlier age so that they are ready to go into the workforce after getting those skills and certifications that they need. The other piece of this is we really looked at models across the country and even internationally, and really couldn't find a really model that was already there, is really looking at how do we get students engaged hands-on. The other piece of that was we didn't want them just sitting in front of a computer looking up jobs, careers, and researching it that way. We wanted it to be very specific, very intentional. The curriculum, the content is very specific and very intentional to careers in these pathways, and really giving students opportunities to know early on what that job entails, what that career entails, working with industry partners and really having them come in and work with our students and give them information about careers within their organization, and also giving students firsthand knowledge as they transition into that high school program or community college program, having relevant equipment and technology that students are going to be working on when they go into these fields. Also making sure that vocabulary is there, making sure that we're talking the same language in middle school that they're going to hear once they transition to high school and even into the workforce. So the next slide you see here is our map across the Commonwealth. One of the biggest things that we strive to do is really scale for success, and how we have grown across the Commonwealth thus far. And you'll see some data points. Right now this year, we're in 52 schools across Virginia. We're in Go Virginia regions 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we're working with other regions across the Commonwealth to hopefully get into those school divisions soon. Region 3. You can see the most green was our first region that started. So we're closing in. We've got one school division left and another one that we've had conversations with. So we hope to be in complete saturation in Go Virginia Region 3 pretty soon. Go Virginia Region 1 is also very close. We've talked to pretty much every school division within that region. So a lot of interest in that region as well. And then we're working with some other regions. So you can see that there's a lot of opportunity to create these pipelines from K-12 to higher education into the workforce across the Commonwealth. So you can see here some of our facts. We are in 52 schools this school year, supporting job growth across the Commonwealth as well as talent development. This is all through regional partnerships. Like I said, when we started GoTech in Pittsylvania County and Danville City, it was partnerships with the K-12 school systems, economic development, the Institute for Advanced Learning and Research, as well as our community college. So a lot of opportunity, and it's very important to have those partnerships. And also, and Mark will talk a little bit about it as we talk about kind of the partnership with our industry partners and how important that is to have them at the table when we're having these conversations. Mark is a true champion of what an industry partner looks like, and we've been very blessed to have him a part of our team from the very beginning of GoTech. Through the high school programs, he works very collaboratively with the K-12 school systems across the region and supporting them in many ways, and he'll talk about that. 22 million plus in funding. So we've leveraged $10 million from Go Virginia, and then also had over $12 million with match funding from localities, federal agencies, and philanthropy, which is very important that we're not going to one source for the funding, that school systems and other stakeholders are really investing in developing this talent in our middle schools, which is something that doesn't always happen. So it's important for everyone to see the benefit of getting students engaged at a younger age. We've reached over 8,000 students and look to see that continue to grow as students are engaging in these GoTech Career Connections Lab across 38 school divisions, which is pretty powerful as well. And every school division across the Commonwealth certainly has, and I know there's some fellow educators on here today that I've worked with across in my time as CTE director. Everyone has different schedules. So we may see, sixth graders, seventh graders, and eighth graders over the course of the time. Sometimes it may be students who only get it sixth grade or only get it seventh grade. So our goal is to be as impactful as possible with these students. And why is this important for the Commonwealth of Virginia? It demonstrates a long-term commitment to talent development as we, work with economic development and work with bringing jobs and industries to our regions. It's important to see that that talent development is there. How are we training? What's going to be future employers for these industries? For again, Region 3, I can talk specifically as we have worked, again, having industries that are looking to locate in our region coming in to visit these GoTech labs, visit the high school programs in the 9th and 10th grade, then the 11th and 12th grade programs at Career and Technical Center, transitioning over to the community college and seeing what that looks like, and then capstone programs that we have at the Institute for Advanced Learning and Research. So they see that true pipeline of talent development from sixth grade all the way through to post-secondary training. So that opportunity, again, as we're doing that, it's driving that regional collaboration and support of job growth, because we, I think, in again, our Region 3 have really truly demonstrated what collaboration and opportunity looks like, and certainly a model for that across the Commonwealth and even the country as we work with the folks in other states and other countries to show them what that looks like. Public and private investments is also important, as we've had, again, the investment from Go Virginia, but also industry partners who stepped up to the plate and seen that this is a value to students in their region, and they want schools in their region to be a part of that as well. And then again, that business and industry partnership and how we're working with them to see what curriculum and content is needed. What does that skill attainment look like? So when we talk with folks like Mark Gosney from Comfort Systems, what are those skill sets that he sees that his company needs? How do we stay ahead of the curve? We just had an advisory council meeting this week, and we talk about, how do we make sure we're in the forefront? We're not behind in making sure these students have relevant technology and getting the skills that they need to be prepared for the workforce when they graduate from high school and post-secondary education and training, that they're not 5, 10, 15 years behind getting those skills as our, industry partners are, aging out a lot of their workforce. So how do we make sure in this K-12 spectrum that we're really engaging students at an early age and giving them the skills to be prepared once they graduate? And then that technology integration piece is, again, making sure that we're able to rapidly deploy relevant technology that's up to date, and we're ever changing with the industry as well. We also have, and you saw on the map, the T's. We have training labs in each of our regions. The Institute for Advanced Learning and Research in Danville, Virginia is the physical agent for GoTech. And so everything, kind of comes back to ILR. Our training labs, we have a training lab at the Institute as well as in Region 1, we're at Southwest Virginia at the new EO Career Commons area at the Hub. So we're excited about that new lab. In Region 3, again, we're at ILR. Region 4, we're at CCAM. And then in Region 5, we're at Brooks Crossing in partnership with ODU. So as we're working with our partners, again, across the Commonwealth, school divisions come on board. They have the opportunity to, again, bring on as many schools as they want. Once we have 4 school divisions within a region, we look at putting a training hub in that region to support those teachers, because the other critical piece of the GoTech mission is making sure that we provide support and training for the teachers on the equipment, the curriculum, the content that's used in that classroom to teach those students. Because when you're looking at 9 modules in sector areas, you're not going to have too many folks that are going to come to the table that have that experience and knowledge of all of those areas. So we're staffed. We have 2 staff members at our training labs across Region 1, 4, and 5. And then we've got our central staff that's located in Region 3 at ILR to support GoTech. So we have that opportunity to bring teachers in, and also our training coordinators and program coordinators go out to the school divisions and help setting up equipment when that new equipment's coming in, as well as providing support for classroom modeling to teach what that looks like in a classroom setting. If they need that support, if they've got trouble with equipment, they're providing that tech support as well. So I'm going to stop there, and I'm going to let Mark share.
Okay. So again, Mark Gosney, Comfort Systems. We employ pipe fitters, welders, sheet metal mechanics, sheet metal installers, plumbers. We have a large support network in-house, because being a major mechanical contractor in this day and age, virtually every project is built electronically. So we call it virtual construction, which involves CAD, AutoCAD, and at our level, it's Revit, which is the platform that engineering firms do all that modeling in. So we started that, I'll say probably about 16 years ago, and started fabrication of piping, and that's our way of life today. And until about a year or so before COVID, people just came to us, and I think that was probably common, in most industries. And so we were starting to struggle to find, new talent, and because it's a rural area down here, Southside Virginia, and we're a large employer, so it's you got to keep people walking in the door. So 3 of us went over to the high school. We called the local CET director and went to the high school to make a visit, just to start engagement. And when we left there, we were appalled. We were appalled by the lack of enthusiasm, the lack of facilities. I mean, because we'd never gotten out of our business. And so, when Angela mentioned partnership, that's the key to success, is to the employer needs to understand that he's got to be part of the solution. So we started a very robust engagement. And so we started talking to every school division that touched our county. So we're on the southern border, so we actually go down to North Carolina and engage some of those people that are kind of, might say, out of our normal loop of education up here. And in doing that, we actually found a public community center down there, well, not community school, that actually teaches Revit. We were shocked. They're like 12 miles from us. So until you get out and talk to the people around you, you don't know what you'll find. So we were pleasantly surprised, and we've had 3 interns. We have one right here with us now that's fresh out of high school, thinking he might wants to be an architect, and so he's working as a intern for us right now. We had 2 summer interns from that same facility. So as we've been engaging people, we simultaneously started a internship program with the local high school. So they don't have a lot of different applicable trades, but welding is one of them. So we've had for 5 years, but we didn't have it during COVID. So it's had 5 active years. I've had 2 interns in the afternoon come into our fabrication shop and work till 5:30 in the afternoon with our guys. And on Monday, we work Monday through Thursday, 10-hour days, and sometimes on Friday. So they're getting, a lot of exposure. And so they're learning the skills, basic skills in the welding trades program. But, we're working them along with our people. And then we have dedicated training time for them to hone in on their pipe welding skills. So that engagement, I'm glad to say our hit rate is very well. We've retained 4 of the 8 students that have come through our program as full-time employees. And this year is exceptional because 2 of those were really good welding students, and they've both progressed to qualify as a pipe welder. So one of them qualified actually before he graduated high school. The second one just qualified about 2 weeks ago. So they're actually working on our crews. You have to be 18 to be a field employee with our company. So they've progressed from the fab shop out into the field. Excuse me. And, for them, they got a $10 raise the day they qualified. So they were, they're both shopping new pickup trucks right now. And so it's been good for the company. It's been good for the students to come into a career, but it will never happen unless the employer goes and meets with educators. We've engaged everything that goes on up at ILAR. That's a fantastic think tank of wealth of knowledge there. And so we've engaged them in many, many different programs. We engaged, today was manufacturing day around here. I'm not sure if that's a statewide thing or what, but we had 4 groups of students come in from the local high school. We only had them for a half an hour, but we walked them through our facility. So you have to be engaged to gain, this. And last thing I'll say, excuse me, with GoTech, we visited our local GoTech lab a couple of years ago, right after they got up and running. And what we observed, we were there during class change. And what we observed is when we walked in, everybody's busy doing their thing. And then they said, well, step back because class is getting ready to change. Well, when the bell rang, it was still silence. All the students put up their headphones and everything where they belonged. They walked out quietly. The next class came in quietly. They got all their equipment together, went to the workstations and worked, and it was not a sound made. How many class changes have you ever been in a school system that was quiet? Which tells me they're engaged. They love it. It's like a magnet to metal. They just came in and went right to work. And the teacher was standing over talking with us, off to the side. And so right then I said, this is really important. When you can grab the attention of 6th, 7th, and 8th graders like that, you've got something. So that's what GoTech is. That's something that's starting this. So partnership, Takes two. And so anytime you engage your potential customers, being the, manufacturing or clients, you've got to encourage them to get out and get involved, and it will definitely pay dividends. It's been fantastic for us, and we've now started. We have a youth welding apprenticeship program for state apprenticeship. We have a active plumbing apprenticeship program that one is completed. He will be taking his test here in the next month or so to get a journeyman's card. He'll probably go ahead and test for a master plumber's card. And we've got 3 more that are in the classroom side of that plumber apprenticeship program. So it's been very active for us and very beneficial.
That is wonderful. I think that's the best argument for CTE I've ever heard, is the peace and quiet that teachers are going to get. Well, that was excellent. Does anyone have any questions for Mark or Angela? You can.
I have a question, since I'm, actually new to GoTech and the program. So we're our accelerator is in Buena Vista, Virginia. I think that's Region 8. Have you had any talks about extending into this region? Because I'd be very interested in doing whatever I could to help you get that started here.
I have not had anyone from Buena Vista. We've had a few folks, I think, from Region 8 that have reached out. So we're certainly more than welcome to have conversations. We have, a lot of folks in regions or school divisions who are interested. They come, to the Institute, to our facilities, because we do have the training lab. The training lab is replicate of what's in the GoTech lab in the middle school. So we have conversation. We talk about, what it takes to become a partner, what it takes from the school division as well as other organizations. And I think the key, we have a lot of folks who are interested in supporting GoTech and who are, want GoTech in their region. But the key is making sure that school division is invested, and making sure that they are wanting that in their school division, because if they're not invested, it's not going to be successful. So bringing stakeholders from, the superintendent, CT directors, administrators is very important. I will be at VACTIA next week, which is the Virginia Association for Career and Technical Education Administrators, sharing information about GoTech. So hopefully, we have people from all over the state. So hopefully some folks from your area will be there. But if not, I'll put my contact information in the chat, and you can certainly reach out and we can have further conversations.
Yeah, that would be great. I'm thinking specifically about Mountain Gateway Community College. They have 2 locations, and one is here in Buena Vista, and they are currently working on a workforce development center downtown. And it seems like it would be a good complement to what you're doing. So, okay, thank you.
Nancy also has a question in the chat. I don't know if you want to verbalize it, Nancy, but I'm happy to read it out. Well, what types of equipment are in the GoTech labs, Angela?
Good question. So within the different areas that we're talking about, so we do have a Haas CNC desktop mill. And I will just kind of add to that, when we talk about partnership and collaboration, when we were developing this lab, we do have a lot of Haas equipment in our junior, senior precision machining lab, as well as the community college and then industry. We actually worked with Haas to develop and build out this desktop mill. So the first conversations about that came from, again, knowing what we needed and what we wanted to have equipment wise and tool wise in that lab was another true testament of partnership with our industry partners. We have virtual welders, so a combination of Lincoln and Miller, depending again on kind of what the region, because we have found that industries are using different types. Some are really, honed in on Lincoln, some are honed in on Miller. So trying to really be flexible with making sure that, so they do a lot of that virtual welding as well. We do have on the metrology side, mics, calibers, rulers, all of that. So getting into those components, 3D printers, is also another area when we're looking at the manufacturing side and the additive and talking about that. We do have on the automation and robotics, we have some robotics equipment, also, some VEX tools and resources, the healthcare technologies, getting into just a variety of skill sets there, from blood pressure simulators to CPR mannequins, teaching those basic skills. I think what else? Kind of a vertical indoor unit, and we've worked with a couple different companies on these. So the hydroponics and aquaponics side of things for the vertical farming on that as well. Certainly software and technologies is important. So making sure that, depending on what program they're in, the different technologies and resources are there for that as well to cover those content areas. So that varies. And a lot of times the problem we run into, we used to use Fusion when we started the program out, but we run into age restrictions on some of these. So we have to, really be flexible and looking at that and understanding that. But that's kind of the high level. Then certainly a lot of other tools and resources that students are getting in the program.
That's a lot. Thank you.
You're
Very
welcome.
impressive.
Okay, if there are no other questions, then Peter Anderson from NRCC and Nancy Hardwick with MELD Manufacturing are next on our agenda.
Sure, it's great to see everybody, and thank you for this opportunity to discuss a partnership, a very successful partnership we have with the industry. And Mark, I think you said it well. The industry partnerships that we have at the community college are absolutely critical to our success. We have an educational and industrial advisory committee in every one of our discipline areas. And there are people, I see Vince Hatcher on here as well from Hollingsworth and Bowes, from out in Floyd. There are people from Floyd, from Montgomery County, all of our 5 localities, and each one of these educational and industry representatives that are staffed on these committees that are tasked to ensure that we are connected with industry. So industry partnerships like MELD that Nancy's going to talk about in more detail later, again, are absolutely critical to what we do. How that some of that partnership has worked in the past. New River, we've taken our faculty over to make better faculty connections, see what, and this was even Nancy, if I may, I know we're talking about just MELD, but Nancy's also humble. She also owns AeroProbe. When it was just AeroProbe, we've had connections even before MELD and PrintWorks was started. So, and Nancy is a former foundation board member, so lots of connections to our college. But our faculty are connected with Nancy and the employees at AeroProbe, at MELD. And then obviously talent acquisition. That's one of the main things we do, provide well-educated talent to industries like Nancy's. And we want to ensure that, they may not be a master of what Nancy needs, but they got a good, well-rounded education and can start and become productive for companies like Nancy as soon as they have graduated. Nancy, and I told her when we were preparing for this, I told her I was going to brag on her some because she's a very humble person. For those of y'all that don't know Nancy, so Nancy's also responsible. We are so lucky in our region to have her and have our connections. We are besides Hampton Roads in Northern Virginia, we are the only ones in Virginia that has an AUVSI chapter. So we're excited to bring in the many connections that chapter has brought and the conferences that we've had and the energy that it's brought into the New River Valley. Specifically, we are really excited as we move forward. We are partnering with Virginia Tech, Dr. Chris Williams in his lab, New River and Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech is getting one of the MELD machines. The MELD machines are very, very expensive. It is cutting edge technology. So we're going to partner with Virginia Tech, and our machining students and possibly some of our engineering design technology students who work a lot with 3D printing will be going over to the engineering labs at Virginia Tech and utilizing that facility. Dr. Williams hopes to have that MELD machine there in the spring, and we are excited to have our students over there training on the latest technology. I don't want to steal Nancy's air. She'll tell you more about the technology and everything that it can do, but it is truly innovative. There's nothing like it in the world right now, and she'll show you that. And then last but certainly not least, we look forward to providing workforce training. Again, Nancy's not, when we first started talking about this, I thought Nancy would want to be proprietary. And I said, Nancy, is it going to be okay if we have one of these MELD machines and training? And she's like, absolutely, and she wants them out in the New River Valley. So it's a way for all of the New River Valley to advance this wonderful technology that really there's nothing else that can compare to it. And it gives you a new and unique way to create and use metal like never before. But we're so excited for the multiple partnerships, the decades that we worked with Nancy and her multiple companies. And Mark, you nailed it on the head. The partnerships, the connections between the public schools. And I see Mark Husband on here. I'm so glad, CT Director from Montgomery County. He's on our Career Pathways Consortium that we work together with New River and all of our service region partners. So the connections from the public schools to the community college, higher ed centers, or higher ed institutions, and then industries like Nancy, that's what we're all about. If we want to be successful, those are the kind of partnerships and connections that we have to have. And I'm excited to hear more about MELD, because every time Nancy tells me something new, I'm like, I didn't know that was going on. So, but I'll let Nancy, or turn it over to Nancy, and she can tell us about her company and all the innovative and cool things they're doing.
Oh, thank you, Peter. You're too kind. What a pleasure to get to talk about all the fun we've been having all these years together with everybody on this call. I think most people know that even though I launched MELD in 2018 to commercialize the 3D printing technology that we developed here, it's something I've been working on and the team has been working on a very long time. And that happened initially inside AeroProbe Corporation. And AeroProbe makes avionics and instrumentation for aircraft and serves other industries like the turbo machinery industry. So no matter which business I've been growing and what decade or year I think about, I do think about the support that I have been able to have and very grateful to have from New River Community College. It's definitely a place where I have sent employees to upskill their capabilities, and it's a place that I go regularly to recruit employees. And the team there has been just so supportive of my companies, from, as Peter said, staff, faculty coming to my location to understand what we do and be able to think about the best way to help us with continuing education. We've enlisted their support in a number of ways. And then they promote our companies inside the student body at a level that is, just amazing for me. So we've appreciated the influence of having this community college next door, from staff who are doing brazing, machining, advanced machining, calibrations, electronics, I would say, advanced assembly, including electronics assembly, and even moving into the support roles for additive manufacturing. So it's wonderful to know that in addition to a resource for talent that has experience with CAD/CAM packages. Now these students are learning about slicers and software tools designed specifically for the additive manufacturing industry. Because there is a spectrum of need for us, and there's a multidisciplinary need inside any additive company, any manufacturing company using additive to be successful. So I've really appreciated first the willingness to really get to know us, understand where our gaps are, and how the college can help. And then secondly, I've just been, so grateful to have the college step up and say, we see this new industry growing, this additive manufacturing industry. We see that these are creating new training needs, and we're ready. And so it is so wonderful to know that New River and Virginia Tech are going to partner together to have hands-on training. And I'm just so passionate about the need to be able to put our future workforce in front of an actual machine. So Angela, that's why I asked, how much equipment are these students having access to? Because that's where I believe the inspiration will come from. It's very difficult to feel competent about something that you've only seen on a screen, on your computer or your telephone. So being hands-on is something I'm really looking forward to. We're still a small business. We have a global reach now. Our technology has been very well received in a number of industries around the world. But we're still a small team of people, and we would like to keep our focus on the technology. So for us to be successful, our customers need to be successful. For our customers to be successful, they need a workforce. And I am looking forward to the people who have demonstrated excellence in training a workforce, being able to help our customers train on the MELD technology and other additive technologies, and all of the technologies that are in the ecosystem of additive that are required to make it be successful. So I really think being on the cutting edge as an institution must be very difficult. As I think both Angela and Peter said, it's very difficult to acquire the equipment to keep the newest technologies in front of the students, and I applaud those who find a way to do it, and I'm excited to help support that. I'm happy to, I'm happy to
I can open up the floor for
add
questions.
anything
Yeah.
else.
This is Mark Gosney. I would make a comment. Not only do you have to have the equipment, but there's always a struggle with educators is to bring in technical educators from the fields that they have expertise in, because there's generally a huge gap in pay. And so one thing that we're doing here, it's ongoing, but we've actually supported some of our welding instructors here. They had a gap in the high school program one time that they lost an instructor mid-semester. And so I also serve on the foundational board, for Halifax County CTE programs. And so, they're like, what do we do? So we took one of our welders, very well experienced welders in a fabrication shop, and we let them borrow them for a half a day to fill that gap they had. So, as partners, again, you got to do what you got to do to keep the programs active and ongoing. And so don't hesitate to reach out when as an educational system, you have a need. reach out to those that are willing to participate with you. And if they don't have the resources, they probably know somebody that does. So that's where everybody can pitch in and help and make these things grow. We're also looking at we're exploring some subsidies down here on the south side that we can reach out and through maybe the IDA Foundation and operations. Maybe we can, have a little bit here and a little bit there and a little bit there, and we can come up with a better program for the instructors, better level of instructors by helping out.
Okay, well, if no one else has any questions, I would like to thank our panelists for being here today and sharing more about their incredibly successful partnerships. Angela just shared more about GoTech in the chat, so feel free to follow up on that if you're no doubt interested in the program. And Dylan Andrews has been including links throughout the webinar as well to our panelists' respective organizations, so you can learn more afterwards. Again, thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for your thoughtful attention and questions. Yeah, Dylan, go ahead.
And just a reminder that Virginia Tech is hosting their Manufacturing Day event tomorrow in Goodwin Hall, I believe, Emma. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, that is correct. From 9 to 2 p.m. Feel free to come by and experience some of the many tours around the Virginia Tech campus. And Dylan just dropped the link to the Manufacturing Day website, so you can pick and choose what you'd like to go see. I know MELD is hosting a tour. So Nancy, would you like to give everyone a kind of a sneak peek about what's going to be shown that day, or?
Yeah, thank you. I would appreciate it. Actually, the tour will be at Printworks.
Printworks,
so
yes.
we didn't talk a lot about it, but Printworks is, I think, our region's first business focused solely on additive manufacturing, making parts. So on the tour, they will see machines making parts for industry, primarily space and aerospace industry. And I can tell you that Printworks is recruiting, so we will have all our positions posted for anyone on the tour to see. And Printworks is counting on our educators on this call to help us get a workforce. We're trying to move to 3 shifts, and we need all the smart, talented folks we can get.
Absolutely. And if anyone has worries about Virginia Tech parking, it will be provided for by the event coordinator at the event. So if that was a barrier, it has been removed. But anyways, thank you all so much for being here today. If you have any questions afterwards, I will drop my email in the chat. But yes, thank you all so much. Have a great day.
One
Great
quick
discussion
thing,
today.
Emma.
Yes, go ahead, please.
So the link that Angela put, I had to put your email in to get it, and I think it sent you a code. So if you wouldn't mind dropping that code,
Sure.
so we can actually get to it. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Yeah, there is my email, and I can follow up. I can email you the code. Is that okay?
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
All right. Bye,
Bye-bye.
everyone. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.